When you have psychic powers, anything becomes possible. You could have an unlimited supply of coffee jelly, fill every street with statues of alpacas, restructure modern society solely around the consumption of Sanrio goods, and synthesize all the anime figures you could possibly want. Me? I would also rewrite the human genome so that everyone is compelled to watch my videos so I don't have to get a real job. Alas, I do not have psychic powers, and don't even have the intelligence to figure out a magic trick spoon. What I can do is go to an anime convention where I can at least pretend to be psychic for a day. Hello again, dear viewers. I decided before filming that I would be speaking through telepathy for the concept, but in retrospect, looking deadpan to the camera is both difficult and ridiculous in execution. It was a better idea in my head, but sadly, unlike the real Saiki, I have to blink. I wanted to get into character and bought this prop, but I threw away the instructions and now I can't figure out how to bend it with my mind. It's too hot for a PK Academy uniform, so I'm going for a lazy London Puck Saiki cosplay. Although this giant wig makes my face look very small, very demure, and very mindful, it's something I can only wear during convention season. I actually have never been to a convention before, but it seemed like it would be interesting content, so I set aside my reservations about them and went anyways. For someone like me who now only lives for parasocial validation, going to a convention seemed like a perfect place since cute and interesting scenery is packed into one giant room. Honestly, I'm really impatient and was considering shelling out for priority passes, but they were all sold out. Now, did I have to wait around for 45 minutes waltzing from room to room? Yes, but it wasn't that bad since I got to look at everyone else's cosplays while online. I didn't really know what to expect since it's my first time at this kind of place, so I headed to the Good Smile booth, and while I can appreciate a good Gundam mountain, in my biased opinion, there needs to be more Vocaloid representation. While the display Miku figures are cool, in general my favorites are more so Kaito and Len, so it's rough out here for me. I was kind of out of it because I hadn't eaten all morning to get there early in lineup, and I thought there was a concession stand for Mario themed food, but you had to like their Facebook page in exchange for sustenance, and I don't have Facebook and would rather starve than open an account. To help get into character, I actually went out and bought some coffee jelly the day before and had some for breakfast. I didn't have high expectations, but ended up burning through like 5 packs, though it's crazy good. They were right. It is a heavenly delight. To be honest, I haven't seriously played Pokemon since Gen 7 and couldn't even get into the Switch one, so I don't really feel that connected to the new ones, even though they're pretty cute. Actually, my favorite Pokemon are probably the Slowpoke family, so I'm glad they still get representation. In 2014, my first Wonder Trade in Pokemon Y was a level 20 Slowpoke, and I thought it was the coolest Pokemon ever since it was my first game, and I wanted to beat the entire game with it. It might have been cooler to say some platitude like, "Oh, I love Slowpoke because it reminds us all to live life at a slower pace and be more carefree," but really, I just thought it was a cool looking pink guy. Very misleadingly, the Digimon display was right next to the Pokemon one and even had the same color scheme, but you'll never fool me. Cute displays aside, while I'm fine with the mental aspect of being in crowds, my immune system was not, and I was bedridden for a week after this with what I have deduced to be a disease that only affects beautiful young men. Thoughts and prayers for my more physically active cameraman that didn't catch this obviously high pedigree disease. Fortunately, all my convention-related worries would be healed when I encountered this intriguing display of what seemed to be alpacas. Predictably, I was drawn like a moth to a flame to the giant alpaca sculptures, even if I wasn't allowed to show joy in my face today. While I am loyal to the Muse Alpacaso and didn't cheat on George Dearest by buying from a rival alpaca faction, I can't lie that I was really tempted by the range of merchandise that they have. Alpaca stickers, uniformed alpacas, alpacas with hair, alpaca mystery boxes, alpaca hybrids. Mentally, this is how I imagine all of us frolicking together, but soon, you won't have to imagine because I have now decided to provide custom-made George emojis for all members Tier 2 and above. They're no longer timed exclusives. I want to take a picture with the alpaca statues as if they were celebrities, but I could not survive in the overhead lighting and was frowning for real and not just for the Saiki concept. This is really so gross, but when I walked over to the plushie displays, there was this one character that had a tissue in it, and I'm not sure whether that was part of the display or if someone stuffed it there. I instinctively pulled it out, and I don't know why I did that. I know I mentioned that I really didn't care for Tamagotchi last time, and I still don't, but there's something so fun in Y2K about these. I'm a very disorganized person, so I went to this convention blind and didn't really even look at the map, so I just wandered around taking in the sights until I heard there was a Sanrio booth. I couldn't find it for like an hour, so I'll make you wait as well. You know, I walked past this super cute Powerpuff Girls stand and no one even cared. I get that it's not an anime, but
Come on, people. My favorite is Bubbles, by the way, just so you know. I made a detour to the manga and light novel section despite hating the idea of reading, and honestly, it was kinda lame since it's no different than what I could find at a bookstore. Honestly, I didn't have high hopes of conventions in general, no shade, but I was expecting more pizzazz. I'm not saying don't go. I'm saying watching a YouTube video of a convention brings a non-statistically different amount of joy without having to wallow and sweat amongst the general public.
I actually didn't buy anything on this little excursion today, which you may find surprising due to my weakness for trinkets and claw machines. Maybe it's post-coffee jelly clarity. I don't handle caffeine well, never have. I did buy a coffee machine once because it was on sale with capsules worth more than the machine itself, so I thought, oh, what a good deal. But it gave me insomnia, so I gave it away to an acquaintance that I worked on a group project with. We weren't even close. The only time I was tempted was when I saw this figure of Rom for super cheap. I hate Subaru, but I hate Watch ReZero just because the plot is fascinating. I love Amelia. I am so much. When I got to the Sanrio stand, it was like finding an oasis in a desert, but clearly everyone else also felt that way because it was basically barricaded. The concept was really pretty, so I was really excited to see it up close, but honestly, it was such a letdown because the merchandise had like a 300% markup, and they did my best friend and son Cinnamoroll so dirty, and they barely even had any merch of him despite him winning the election every single year. Something very tragic happened here, actually. Basically, to get a chance to enter the Sanrio-themed photo booth area, you have to pull photo card corresponding to the same theme, right? And then redeem a ticket. And I didn't even pull a single Cinnamoroll one, but that's besides the point. Anyways, I was waiting in line with my friend when suddenly we spot this no older than 12-year-old kid in some pink magical girl cosplay ask her friend if they could go. And they were all like, we don't do things like that, and walked away from her. So here comes this ostracized little kid with a trolley of anime goods in one hand, and she starts making small talk with me and my friend, which is fine. But then she asked if we could add her online, which isn't exactly appropriate since we're grown up. So I sort of just stood there awkwardly, but my friend, she offered to give her email, which honestly is kind of worse than a rejection. And it's times like these that make me wish I had more friends with the same hobbies as me. And if I was in a group of friends, maybe I would have looked more unapproachable. In my head, I wanted to give her a lecture about not talking to strangers and how she shouldn't trust adults that are too eager to talk to her, but it was my time slot for the photo area. On a lighter note, isn't this place cool? They gave everyone a themed headband that I couldn't figure out how to put over my head because of my antennas. I mean, like the outside, the fluorescent lighting is rough and my wig was about to fall off at this point, but see me calmly ignore that? That is the mark of a psychic. I'm a completionist, so I got a ticket for the dark theme as well, which was low-key a copy and paste of the bright theme, but if you slap a Cinnamoroll face on anything, I'll eat it up. I was tempted to take a photo of my melody, but my loyalty to Cinnamoroll is unwavering. If they put Pom Pom Puri in there, then maybe, but he got snubbed again, as always. I of course did feel a little self-conscious being a man in a pink wig taking pictures with plastic Sanrio cutouts, but everyone there is at an anime convention. They have no right to judge me. We're all sheep in the same pasture here. At this point of the day, I was ready to hurry up and go because it was like 4 p.m. But I took a final look at the little independent stalls over on the other side of the convention center, and of course there was exactly what you would expect to find there. This is a family-friendly channel, but if you watch any convention episode of a show, all the tropes are true. But unexpectedly, there was a stand that sold stickers of Need More Cash and Tanaka-san. Very adorable. One day maybe there will be bootleg stickers of George Mojis out there in the wild too. One can dream. After deciding that enough was enough and that I wanted to leave, it seemed that everyone else had the same idea and I had to waddle 20 minutes to even get a glimpse of the exit. At the very least, when I could finally get lunch and it was 5 p.m., there wasn't any competition for seats. I helped myself to ramen with 2 whole eggs. How decadent. A happy ending indeed. Now it's time for everybody's favorite segment, the UU Academy Midterm Final Class Ranking. I didn't have time to add animations for you guys this time, but I will try my best to next time. Thank you to the arbitrarily ranked Cod, Annette Moriori, Levi, Bug-Eyed, Hani, Zeno, and of course the Financial Nostalgia tier members that didn't opt into shoutouts as well. Moving on, another big thank you to all of the Fruitiger Dinero tier members that also kindly contribute to my channel as well. Those that didn't opt into shoutouts included. Like I said earlier, after a long discussion with the alpaca voices in my head, I have decided to open up custom George emojis to all members tier 2 and above, though of course the complex George emojis will be reserved for tier 3 members. If you're a member that hasn't had a chance to claim their benefits, please check out the form links on the membership tab. I don't mean to pressure you if you don't want them, but you know, get your money's worth, guys. If you're interested in benefits like exclusive decision-making polls, special previews, a membership badge next to your name and comments, and of course the ever-growing pool of George emojis, then please consider joining my membership. Link is in the description. Thanks again to all of you for watching, regardless if you're a member or not, and I'll see you all next time.